Recording. Hello, this is Sean Matthews from The Real Deal, where we have real conversations with real people, business owners and entrepreneurs. Today, this episode is a little bit different, but also similar with connecting with like-minded business women and men, entrepreneurs and business people all alike. I would really like to introduce him now. His name is Daryl, and I would love to just bear with me 1 minute so I get this correct. And so Daryl is an entrepreneur and never takes no for an answer. There is always a way. If someone challenges him, then he will get it done. Well, he will get it done, keeps him going right until the end to get the result. He is the founder and owner of Alpha LED Lighting that started as a hobby and then quickly became a job. And then he started manufacturing his own underwater products and moved into the niche market requiring LED applications, pools, pylons, and anything in between. The company then discovered Strikehold, and an amazing, unique product that is quite simply a preventative maintenance in a spray that dries. Seeing is believing, and the applications are in the hundreds, so too many to list, I should say. Also, Daryl is a runner and into fitness, swimming, and cycling, and does lots of charity and loves to help business owners grow and scale their business. Got huge buzz to see this in the local and wider communities. And he is also a team leader at the BX Coomera, and people that don't know what BX is, it's a networking group here on the Gold Coast, and it's also all around Australia. He is also great. It's a great way to give back and support entrepreneurs, business owners in their quest to succeed. And networking is so much fun, environment, and opportunity to do global business, which is really exciting. So really, I love networking, and that's how you and I met, Daryl. So welcome, Daryl Bancroft. Thank you for joining me today.
Hey, thanks, Sean. Glad to be here. Excited to come onto your podcast. It's been, I think we booked in about 2 months ago, and finally we've got the date, and it's come along, and yeah, happy to be here.
Yes, well, thank you. Yes, it's a privilege for you to come on because you do something different in business that I'm not really aware of that much, and I think it's great to educate myself and also other people that are listening on what you do. And just a little background, what is it? Who is Daryl Bancroft? Where did you come from, and how did you get started in your business?
Okay, so formally I'm originally from the UK, so you can sort of probably tell from my Pommy accent there that I was born in Cheltenham, 1966. So currently just chunking on the mid-50s at the moment. So I generally like to keep myself fit and active. So I run 4 or 5 times a week, do a bit of cycling, a little bit of swimming as well. But my main fitness is the running, and I push myself sometimes to my extremities because I like to give my brain that you know, I can do this, I can make it, and I'm always trying to, you know, beat my times and all that type of thing. So get a lot out of challenges, whether it's fitness or in business. Somebody asks me to do something, and I often hear that can't be done, and to me that's not the way. There's always a way to do it. There's just the solution and then the result and how to do that and how to make that happen. So for me, I love to work my way through a challenge. I just get excited with that. It's some people call it, you know, out of their comfort zone, but I actually feel comfortable out of my comfort zone, if that makes sense. I'm probably a little bit abnormal there, but that's just my mindset, you know. I'm quite a busy person, so and love results and also love results for other people. And when you see another business owner that's just not doing something correct and you know how to do it, social media, for example, you can jump in and go, how about you just try this? And I'm not showing them exactly what to do, but you know there's a good chance it works. And when you see them next time, they go, oh, it worked. It was amazing. I got these orders. And so that to me is that's my well-being. That's my nutrients that I give back. And you know, in the BX, we have the pay it forward slips, which is all part of the networking group, and it's our way of giving. So that to me is you know, I do that throughout the community as well, through whether it might be helping with the physical groups that I work with. We work with a guy called Damien Ryder, runs PACA, Push Against Child Abuse. And that's quite good, actively involved with Damien and charities and events and things like that. And I also work recently with Adrian Hanks. He's the owner and founder of the Blue Wren Foundation. So we work with the domestic violence on that to push at stopping domestic violence, and any way we can help in the community to get that message out. And sometimes that might mean talking to somebody that's on their last day, you know, their mindset's gone and they're in a semi-suicidal mindset. So we help talk them through and say, hey, come on, there's a lot more to life than this. And then we can bring them back onto that track of, you know, of bringing their life back in and trying to look after themselves, because it's all about, you know, self-belief and bringing yourself into that presence again. Whereas, you know, they get a bit distant, and when they get into that situation, it's really nice to bring them back and get some positivity into their mindset.
Of course.
That's a little bit about what I do and where I come from and how I perform. You know, I like to see other people progress.
That's beautiful. Yeah, and it is a part of a community, and you sound very entrepreneurial. I mean, I think that people that are out there that are listening and watching that might be entrepreneurial, there's not just one thing that entrepreneurs do. There's many things that entrepreneurs do and business owners do. How did you get into your business, and why do you support all these people that you support? So Strikehold's your business. How did you get into it, and all those things that you just spoke about? How do you manage this business with everything else that you're doing?
I guess to me, I'm an early riser, and I do get probably 6 or 7 hours of good sleep, which is really good. That's sort of all I need. Sometimes I have an 8-hour sleep, which is huge, but to me, I wake up very positive and my mindset's ready to go. I sort of bounce out of bed, and I've got my commitments of my run days, and they're regimental. You know, I was in the territorials back in the UK, which is like the weekend warrior type. So inbred in my brain is, you know, my commitment to do my exercise. So I get up and I look for, you know, what's going on. Generally social media, somebody might need help for the day or whatever the case may be. And I'll look at how I can help them. I'll send a post and say, you know, is there anything I can do? Is there anything I can, and you know, our networking works. There's always somebody that we can refer them to, and you just love that. You can watch that feed throughout the day. You can see there's communications happening, there's progress, and I get such a buzz at the end of the day if they go, great, fixed it, found a problem, we got a solution, thank you so much. And so that part for me is connecting people and looking at that overall end result. That's my key thing. And with Strikehold, it came around, we wanted a point of difference. So I look for uniqueness. So as you said, entrepreneurial uniqueness, and I then try and find a niche within that uniqueness. And then if I can, I try and carve a niche inside the niche. So I'll make it really niche. So that then makes it quite difficult for, you know, competitors to come in, and because you've got to have a perseverance that, you know, you've got to smash your head against the wall until you get the result. And that to me is the way I keep going, where some people give up and they don't take it to that last little bit that sometimes is where you find that golden nugget. So, and that's how we found Strikehold. We sourced it, and I found that I could spray a battery drill underwater and fit pool lights. And then my entrepreneurial mind went to the owner of Strikehold and said, how do I get involved in this? I want to become part of the product, and I want to help you generate more product ranges. So we've introduced, when I started, we were on generation 1. We're now on generation 5, and we've got an arsenal of different products that work within that metal treatment and that rust corrosion industry. So all of a sudden, I've become a chemist as well. You know, you sort of It's very entrepreneurial, but it's also unique. It's exactly the space I like playing in. It's performing those tasks that nobody else wants to do. And we'll go up on a cherry picker to a building, and we'll clean up a rusty sign that, you know, the owner was going to pull down and replace, and we'll clean it up and it'll be like new again. And they just go, wow, how did you do that? And I go, well, these products are unique, and they're specialized products that are designed to do exactly what we just did. And we probably save them on average, you know, a sign to install at high to reach, and you're probably looking at $10 to $15 to $20,000 saving. So that's quite substantial to the area. Yeah. So
yeah. And
and
you said those things. Go ahead. Yeah.
These are the type of opportunities that Strikehold and our arsenal of products can offer. It's a full package of metal treatments and cleanups and protecting against waterproofing. It's a really good waterproof product for marine. It's really good for boating, anything to do with marine, fishing. You got bicycles. You know, there's the latest one that we're doing now is air conditioners. So if you put a brand new air conditioner in now, we spray it completely. Motors, pumps, the cage, the whole internals, and that will just stop that corrosion from starting in the first place. Whereas if you did one next door on the building next door and you went back 12 months later, it would be starting to go all rusty. Whereas the Strikehold treated one will be absolutely like the day you put it in. It's a great product.
Sounds like a great product. And you said that I mean, people that can't see what's behind you, there's marines and boats and things. How is it good for boats? And you said something about fishing and bikes. So what does it actually do? Can you be a little bit more specific for the viewers and the listeners on what Strikehold does?
Absolutely. As I said, it was unique. So the difference we have against all our competitors is, first of all, we're not flammable, which is a huge bonus. So when you get the product in the can, you're not getting a propellant, you're getting 100% of our product in the can or in the bottle, whichever way you buy it. It's got a capillary, which basically means you squirt it into a small area and it'll climb. So if you put it, for example, on a stainless steel table leg, and you come back 10 minutes later, it's going to be at the top of the leg. It'll climb. It's like a spider's web. It just keeps weaving and weaving and weaving. And none of the other products do that. So that was designed for the US military in combat war zone. So it protected the soldiers. So when they used to go to war, they'd spray their magazines, and they could run a semi-automatic machine gun and just rapid fire without any misfires and no jamming, which is completely unbelievable that this product actually seals the magazine so they don't pick up sand, dirt, dust.
Wow.
So it's got those unique properties, but it also waterproofs. And this is one of the key things. It puts a dielectric strength on, which makes it protect against water and electricity. So if you've got something that's tripping electrically, we can spray it with Strikehold and it'll stop it tripping. It's a very clever dielectric strength, and it also dries to a form of an absolute dry niche. So you look at it and it's completely dry. You go back a day after you've sprayed it, and you test it. Normally, if you did that with any of the competitors, they're still oily and wet and sticky. Whereas we've actually put a dry Nanotech seal on that what we sprayed. So, and that completely protects whatever we've sprayed, and it's invisible. So it's really good. There's so many applications. I'd run out of paper if we tried to list them all.
Well, how about everyday people? So what about in the household? Does it work in household things?
Yep. So if you use the mindset that WD-40, anything that you use WD-40, you use Strikehold for. So hundreds of those applications, but just remember the difference is that we are dry. So we go on wet, but we're dry. So if you spray, for example, like a gate motor or something that's moving left to right all day long, and with WD-40, it's great for probably a few weeks, but then it will start to attract dust and dirt, and eventually it'll start to get noisy and clicky again. Whereas the difference we've got is we've put a dry lubricant. So we actually lubricate when it's dry. And that's where the uniqueness is. You put it on a bicycle chain, for example. Once you clean, you degrease the chain and you put the Strikehold on. Now, normally you touch a bike chain, you get a black finger or a black hand because it's oily.
Yes, yeah.
Strikehold, you touch it and you think there's no oil on the chain because it's completely dry.
Oh.
And it's mind-boggling because people go, there's no oil on my chain. But you ride it up the beach in a saltwater environment, that chain will not attract salt water, or it won't even get wet. It's got a protective barrier on that whole chain. So and that's all your gears. And so you can literally ride just into the water of the beach there. Whereas normally if you did that 2 days later, your bike's going to be completely rusty, you know? So
yeah, definitely. Oh, that's unique because, I mean, as we both know, we're both on the Gold Coast in Australia, and a lot of people are riding bikes and are near the ocean. So that is quite a good tool to have and a good product to have on hand, for sure.
Yeah, and another good one we found, and we find these really weird applications, but dog leads, you know, the metal dog leads, the clip, they always seize up because you take the dog to the dog beach and you put your lead down, immediately put that lead down, it's starting to corrode because the salt air and the sand is absorbing into the. So if you spray it with Strikehold, it protects it. So I've got quite a few people that go, oh my God, this is the longest I've ever kept a dog lead, you know, 2-3 years, and it's still the same. And I just say to them, spray it every 3 months. Just give it a quick spray, and that will just recoat and protect. So and that's definitely superbly unique to anything else that's out there, because you can, you know, everything else is wet and sticky.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and it gets really greasy really quickly. So that is fantastic. It sounds like a great product. And it started, where did it start? It's in Australia now, and you actually manage Australia and New Zealand. Is that right? Can you?
Yeah, we look after Australia, New Zealand, and the Asia Pacific region.
Yeah.
It's manufactured in Atlanta, Georgia at the moment, but we are in the process of setting up the manufacture here on the Gold Coast. So then we can keep up with the supply and demand, because we're starting to get interest now from mine sites because they're underground. Now, the underground is moisture, it's damp. You get a lot of nuisance tripping, you get a lot of machinery that fails because of those, you know, that damp moisture. Well, Strikehold's made for that application, and it'll protect it in those environments. So that's one of our target markets, and we're doing quite well with the marine, with jet skis and boats, because again, salt water can't attack once you've put that barrier on. It's almost like putting a rain mac over what you're doing. Imagine you coat it in a bubble, in a liquid. You know, it's quite unique.
Yeah, well, it sounds unique. Now, I'm going to ask a question that probably a lot of people are going to want to know the answer to, because we're all about health and well-being here on the Gold Coast. And really, at the moment, with all this COVID stuff going on, everybody wants to be healthy and keep healthy. With your products, is it healthy to use around? Do you have to wear a mask or any equipment so that it doesn't affect your skin?
We do have a product in there that's part of the drying chemical. So when you apply it when it's wet, which is the spray, we do say to wear a mask, as you do with most of the CRC range. They're all flammable and toxic. And having said that, once we're dry, we're a completely different product, because we're now sealed. So it's now a sealed product that's on the application you put it on, whereas a lot of the competitor products, you could throw water at it and it would still be wet and oily and still produce those toxins and things. So we do have that advantage.
Okay.
Yeah.
So an everyday person, an everyday person like me, for instance, I'd have to wear a mask to use it, or would you do it for me? How does that work?
So an everyday person, depending on where you're using the product, if you're outdoors in a well-ventilated area, as long as you're not spraying it and breathing it in, you'd be okay. But it's always advisable to put, you know, safety specs and a mask on to protect yourself when you're using any type of spray, because even your insect repellents, they've all got toxins in them. So,
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's good to just talk about those sort of things, because I think a lot of people would wonder how good it is for your well-being. As we've been talking about, it's very important to be okay with your well-being with all these things that are happening in the air. But
yes.
it's good that you've covered that. So thank you for that, Daryl. It's fantastic to know more about a product that is now in Australia and New Zealand, and you said Asia Pacific as well. And what do you call yourself? Are you a rep for Strikehold, or what's your title?
No, I'm the business development manager for Strikehold USA. So
Yeah.
I look after the US as well, but my main role is Australia, New Zealand, and Asia Pacific. But I also help them with, a lot of Facebook and social media, and we share a lot of our videos and things like that, because the product is the same for anywhere in the world. The only time we have to change it is when we're sending it into countries with foreign languages, where we've got to, put some different dialogues on there and things like that, and get it correct in the language so that they understand what the applications are.
Yeah, definitely. So I hope I heard you correctly, but did you hear that motorcycle that just went past?
I did, yes.
Good.
Yes.
Yeah, I could hear that. So I wasn't sure if anyway, it doesn't matter. I hope our listeners could hear what you were saying, because I barely heard what you said. Do you mind just repeating that again?
I'm just trying to remember what I said now. I was talking about now. Can you? We were
That's
talking
okay.
about uniqueness, wasn't it? I think
Yeah,
it
it was
about
just about uniqueness. Yeah.
Yeah. So the product itself, there's about 15 or 16 other products within that range, and they've all got their toxinities and things like that. But they do stay wet, they don't dry. So our difference is we dry. So once we're dry, it's a completely sealed, what we call a Nanotech invisible film. So, and I say to people, the best way to imagine what we're doing is we're putting a great big bubble over what we're spraying. And that bubble is an invisible film, but just imagine it as a bubble that you can't see. So when the rain comes, or the salt water, or the air, we've got a guy that does video cameras, and this is a really good one. So he spends a lot of money on the best products, the high end, and they use what they call grommets, and they have the ingress rating that's the best you can get in the world. It's an IP66 rating.
Yeah.
But you still get salt air, still gets inside those CCTV cameras, and eventually they break down. So what he's found with using Strikehold is that once that air gets through that grommet, it can't damage the board because it's protected with Strikehold. So they actually call it Magic Loop. They've renamed it Magic Loop because they don't get any service calls now with their jobs, because they spray everything up with Strikehold on the application of install. So it's
oh wow! So it is a
really,
product. It can be used for a variety of things and situations. So multi-purposeful, is that what you would call it?
Multi-purpose and unique. Yeah, it's consumer electronics, especially outdoors. We've got people with TVs that live near the ocean and the sea breeze that normally change their TVs every 2 or 3 years. Well, with Strikehold, you'll be going until the TV dies. It stops that corrosion. So
that's fantastic. Well,
yeah,
thank you for all. Yeah, go ahead.
So it's just a case of people knowing that the product's out there, and that's the whole thing about our branding and our awareness is we don't try and push the sale onto people. We want them to try it, to test it, and use their own opinion of what the product does, but they'll see straight away that it's quite beneficial compared to a lot of the other products that are out there are fantastic. They've been designed very well, but what we find is that we do what a lot of other products do in one product as opposed to multiple others. If that makes sense.
Definitely makes sense. Well, that is fantastic. And on that note, you have something for the viewers and the listeners today. Just on that note, do you have something for them to test?
Yeah. Yep. So we've got our little 2-ounce supply sample bottles, which we're happy to supply. We've just got to ship them out to people. So if anyone's got interest, if they can contact me via the email or the link, or jump onto our Facebook page, which will all be supplied, and we can talk further. I've had a few people that have even asked about becoming distributors because they've tested it, love it. They now are looking at joining our affiliate program to become a distributor and make a residual income from the product, because it's one of those products that once discovered, their friends, their neighbors, everybody gets involved because it does do what we say. It's not one of those fake products. It actually does what we say. So
yeah, which is great. So I will supply all of your links so that people can contact you. Is there a special link that they can grab the giveaway, or they can just email you and then you can contact them that way?
Yeah, probably this awareness is probably better for them to email me. Then I'll contact them, and then I can arrange to talk about what applications they want to look at, and I can give them the best options then, because we've also got rust pastes and general other products in our arsenal of equipment. So if they're looking at getting rid of rust, we can give them the rust paste and the Strikehold as a combination package.
Oh, well, that's very generous of you. So thank you for that. And I'm sure the viewers that would like Strikehold will be very grateful for you for that. And I just wanted to ask you one more question, Daryl, and that is, if you'd like the audience to take away one thing about this episode, what would it be and why?
One thing, it would be again about the branding and the awareness of the product, and why? Because of its uniqueness. It's completely different, and also I'd like for them to take away that we are very passionate about helping the domestic violence as well. That's something that we work very hard on throughout the whole year, and we push through the community. So. Yeah, I know that was 2 things.
Yeah, that's 2 things. I mean, yeah, just to be clear, the community of domestic violence is separate from Strikehold, correct? Or it's
yes. Yeah, that's just my community. I like to help out there and do what I can for charities. We also work with Destiny Rescue, who are generally part of the networking that we work with throughout BX and the whole community. So that's a great charity as well, that saves the children from nasty things that have happened throughout the child sex industry and all that. It's something that we like to see with results. Yeah,
that's amazing. Yeah, Daryl, and just for the listeners, I do have an episode with Mark Nuss about Destiny Rescue. If any of you would like to listen to it, it is episode 5 or 6, can't remember just now, but it is on my podcast if you'd like to listen to it, just so you can know what Daryl helps out with as well outside of Strikehold. So thank you very much, Daryl Bancroft, for coming on my podcast today.
Thanks, Sean. Really appreciate it. It was great fun. And yeah, we will see you somewhere in the networking world.
That's it. This is Sean Matthews with The Real Deal, talking to real people and entrepreneurs and business owners all over the world. Thank you. Till next time. See you. Bye.